You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 14th of March. India delivers urgent medical aid to Sri Lanka amid drug shortage. Pakistan PM visits Balochistan. Militants behind train hijack say standoff still on. And people across India, Pakistan and Nepal celebrate Holi. And now for all the details. In a timely gesture of friendship and cooperation, India has gifted 50,000 ampoules of furosemide injection to Sri Lanka to help address the acute shortage of essential medical supplies in the island nation's hospitals. In a statement on X, India's diplomatic mission in Sri Lanka stated that the swift response came following an urgent request from the Sri Lankan government. The medical consignment was subsequently handed over by the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, to Sri Lanka's Minister of Health and Mass Media on Friday. India's prompt medical support highlights its enduring commitment to Sri Lanka's well-being. Over the years, India has actively contributed to Sri Lanka's healthcare sector, strengthening bilateral ties through various developmental projects and aid initiatives. In addition to medical assistance during Sri Lanka's economic crisis, India had provided crucial aid, including fuel, food supplies and medicines, under a $4 billion assistance package as part of its humanitarian support to its neighbour. India on Friday slammed Pakistan for accusing New Delhi of destabilizing the country following the deadly Jafar Express attack by Baloch separatists earlier this week. In a statement, India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said New Delhi strongly rejects Islamabad's baseless allegations. He asserted that the world knows Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism and that instead of shifting blame for its own internal problems and failures onto others, Pakistan should look inward. Jaiswal's remarks came in response to Pakistan Foreign Ministry spokesperson Shafqat Ali Khan, who stated that there had been no change in Islamabad's stance against India and added that New Delhi sponsors terrorism against Pakistan. During the briefing, Khan also accused Afghanistan of providing safe havens to terrorists, alleging that the attackers behind the Jafar Express incident had handlers based in Afghanistan. However, the Taliban, the de facto authority in Afghanistan, denied the allegations, calling them baseless and unfounded. Afghan Foreign Ministry spokesperson Abdul Kahar Balkhi said that instead of making irresponsible remarks, Pakistan should focus on resolving its own security and internal issues. And Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif visited Quetta on Thursday for a briefing on the security situation following an attack by militants on a train in Balochistan province. The separatist Balochistan Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the attack on the Jafar Express on March 11th, during which they reportedly blew up train tracks and held passengers hostage in a day-long standoff with security services. Pakistan's military said it had killed 33 attackers and that the siege had ended, but the claim was refuted by the BLA, which said in a statement on Thursday that it still had hostages and the battle with security services was ongoing. Sharif at a news conference called for national unity to fight against terrorism.
आज तो हमने इन बेरहम दरिंदों से इन मासूम पाकिस्तानियों की जान छुड़ा ली, मगर खुदा न खास्ता पाकिस्तान हम सब किसी ऐसे दूसरे हादसे के मुतहम्मिल नहीं हो सकते। उसके लिए हमें सबको मिलकर अपना हिस्सा डालना है।
Earlier in the day, the National Assembly unanimously passed a resolution strongly condemning the train hijacking and all forms of terrorism. The BLA are fighting a decades-long insurgency to win independence for the mineral-rich province, home to major China-led projects such as a port and a gold and copper mine. A total of 21 hostages and 4 security troops were killed in the standoff according to the military. But the BLA said 50 hostages were executed. In a scathing public post, Bangladesh's ambassador to Morocco, Haroon al-Rashid, accused Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus of plunging Bangladesh into chaos following what he described as a meticulously coordinated terrorist onslaught on August 5, 2024. In his strongly worded Facebook statement, Rashid claimed that Yunus masterminded the overthrow of PM Sheikh Hasina's legitimate government, throwing Bangladesh into turmoil. He alleged that the mobs lynched hundreds of police personnel and Awami League supporters in a wave of brutality that unfolded within just 2 weeks of Hasina's ouster, calling it barbarity on a massive scale. He warned that the interim government had actively undermined Bangladesh's secular foundations and accused Yunus of shielding terrorist elements like Hizb ut-Tahrir, ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Only Sheikh Hasina stands between Bangladesh and complete theocratic rule. He also criticized Western powers for endorsing Yunus's government, arguing that Western nations would react strongly if individuals responsible for the 9/11 or Charlie Hebdo attacks were similarly supported. Rashid is the first sitting Bangladeshi official to publicly denounce the Yunus-led government. The arch-rival of ousted Prime Minister Hasina, Yunus assumed power after Hasina fled to India. He has faced mounting criticism for his handling of deteriorating law and order situation and rising communal violence. The contract for the wind power project in Mannar will be given to another company if the Adani Group is not interested, Sri Lanka's Power and Energy Minister Kumara Jayakodi told the Parliament on Friday. Sri Lanka is studying a letter it had got this week from the Adani Group to state their stance on wind power projects in the island. Local media quoted the minister as saying, "Without unraveling the complications, Sri Lanka cannot re-tender the wind projects," he said. "They have now sent a letter. We will study and take action," he said. The Adani Group has said it withdrew from the projects as they were financially unviable. Cash-strapped Sri Lanka, which suffered crippling power blackouts and fuel shortages during an economic crisis in 2022, has been trying to fast-track renewable energy projects to hedge against surges in imported fuel costs. And people across India, Pakistan and Nepal on Friday celebrated Holi, daubing each other with festive colors and dancing to drums and music. The Festival of Colors marks the beginning of spring and symbolizes new beginnings. Take a look.
Thousands of people in parts of India celebrated the Festival of Colors, Holi, by smearing each other with colors and dancing to drums and other music. Celebrating the eternal love of Lord Krishna and his consort Radha, Holi is the most awaited festival in India, especially among the youth, as people forget mutual differences and sprinkle powdered colors on each other. Heralding spring, Holi represents a time of forgiveness, renewed friendship, and the triumph of good over evil. During the celebrations, merrymakers throng the streets, parks, and public places, daubing each other in diverse colors. It is undoubtedly one of the most fun-filled festivals, and it attracts a lot of tourists to India.
I'm from America, and I came to celebrate Holi, and so far it's been amazing. People have been so welcoming and kind, and it's just filled with so much joy, and so I'm having such a great time.
Meanwhile, the Holi celebrations began from Thursday only in Nepal, as thousands of people gathered in the ancient palace courtyard of Kathmandu Darbar Square, smearing colors, dancing to traditional drums, and other music. A lot of foreign tourists also joined in the celebrations. Hindus in Pakistan's biggest city, Karachi, also marked the beginning of the festival with Holika Dahan, lighting up a huge bonfire to mark the death of Holika, a symbol of evil. More than 500 Hindus gathered in Karachi's Hindu temple of Sri Swaminarayan for the celebration, just one of many taking place across Pakistan by the country's Hindu community.
ये होलिका को हम जलाते हैं और मतलब कि होलिका जलाने का मकसद यही होता है कि हम ईविल को जलाते हैं और हम अच्छाई को एक जीत रहे होते हैं, तो उसमें प्रहलाद भगत जो होते हैं उनकी जीत होती है और फिर इस सिलसिले में हम उनको मनाते हैं और रंगों से इसको सेलिब्रेट करते हैं ताकि, और रंगों का मतलब ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ होली में हम रंग खेल रहे हैं, इसका मतलब ये भी होता है हम एक दूसरे से जो हमारे दिल में नफरत है, जो हमारे दिल में इविल्स हैं या इविल आइज जो है, उनको हम डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं और अपने रंगों से उसको संवारते हैं, रंगों से उसको निखारते हैं।
The participants of Holi function in Muslim majority Pakistan said they observed it with simplicity, respecting the ongoing Islamic month of Ramadan.
अब चूंकि ये पिछली एक दो दफा ऐसे भी हुआ है, रमजान के महीने के साथ आता है या पहले भी ऐसे होता रहा है, तो रमजान का महीना उसका तकद्दुस बिल्कुल बहरहाल रखना है और हमने रखा है। अच्छा, मजे की बात यह है कि हमारे जो मुसलमान दोस्त भाई हैं, मुझे सुबह से तकरीबन नहीं आएंगे तो सौों की तादाद में जो है वो मुझे दोस्तों के मैसेजेस आए होंगे।
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night and happy Holi.